This is Vicky, also known as Dragonfly7673. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, I think. I'm not actually sure. It's definitely Tuesday. And hi Tig Tigs. Some things don't change regardless of where I'm at. The kitties are still going to want to be part of the entertainment. It is just a little before 7 o'clock. Here is Tiggy Tigers. Yet you don't really want to be held. You can see some of the yarn. The yarn room is coming along. And on some pluses, I did find a bunch of things that were missing since the last time I talked to you. So I recorded on a Thursday, published it on a Friday, and then it's been a full week plus a weekend. So that first weekend, I actually got a bunch done. Best friend was gone most of the weekend. He had a seminar in Chicago. So I made a lot of progress. It is not done. And we're trying to figure out, part of it was in my house. It was kind of collected everywhere, and now it needs to be collected a little more contained. These shelves are very full. There's still one bin left to photograph and fit in here, but there aren't very many books in here, so the books need to go someplace else, and there's not enough room for all the books. So and I have like a bin that's full of unfinished objects. Paul, you asked me once upon a time what happens to my unfinished objects. Well, apparently they all go into bags in various spots until I sort of forget about them. And now I've collected them all in one spot, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do with them going forward. Do I want to finish them, or do I want to call them done? Anything like that. Oh, I forgot something important. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. If it looks at all different, right after I paused it, Tigger went under my feet, I tripped on him and knocked the iPad over. I'm still on the old iPad because I said I wasn't ordering the new one until the yarn room was done, and it's not done. But I was telling you, I was reminding you about when Polly asked me about what happens to my UFOs or my unfinished objects. How do I keep motivated to keep working on things? And I said, well, I don't always. Sometimes they just go away. But one of the things I had mentioned was that I had made this Fair Isle purse, and it really needed, it really needed to be finished off, but the stuff that needed to be done was things like lining the inside. So Mom very nicely blocked this. Not only did she blocked it for me, she lined it. Now I had picked out this fabric ages ago specifically for this purse because I thought it was such a cool match. So, it's got the same kind of swirly cues and everything. So she did that. She actually put plastic canvas in here so it'll stay upright. She added pockets. This one has a little Velcro. There's another little pocket here for knitting needles, crochet hook, whatever. So I still have to, I still need to attach the handles. I also bought the handles quite a while ago, but they will attach like that. They're this blue and brown cording. I bought them off Etsy long time ago. So anyway, so I have two handles to attach on. And then this will actually be no longer an unfinished object, which I'm glad because all the knitting was done a really long time ago. And then it's just been sitting. So I'm very excited to have that done. And thank you, Mom. So, but I also have found a lot of other projects in progress. Socks were like, I made one sock. There's a I don't know where it is anymore. There's a sock that is blue and white and silver, and I had made one sock and then couldn't find the other ball of yarn to make the second sock. I actually found the second ball of yarn, but then I was looking at it and going, the first sock actually looks too big and too loose. So now I don't know if I'm going to bother. There's another sock I made where it was while I was moving from my apartment to my condo, and which was several years back. And so I had made a sock so that I would have something to do while in between packing and things like that, because you know you get sick of packing eventually. And so I had made one sock, never made the other sock, and again I have the second ball of yarn, but now I don't know what stitch pattern it was or anything. It's some sort of slip stitch pattern. So anyway, so I have like these two single socks. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. And there were some other things. I had shown you guys that I had partially made a double knit scarf, and I was looking at it going, I really like the yarn. I don't really want to rip out what I made, but I'm seriously thinking about binding it off and calling it a hot pad, a trivet, and being done with it. I told best friend, and he said it was perfectly fine with him. So it's about this big by this big. I don't want to dig it out right now, but I am seriously considering binding it off and calling it good. Alright, so yarn room it's making progress. I got a little depressed. I had actually made a bunch of progress, and then we found other boxes of yarn and yarn related things in other parts of the house. For example, I didn't realize that the books were not actually here. All my books went downstairs to, best friend likes to call it a library. It's really a potential library for someday. Right now it's nothing except for boxes of books. Anyway, my knitting books went down there with all the rest of the books, not up here with the knitting. So all of a sudden 5 more boxes of books came. Some other random tubs that had been like some of the last stuff where we were just trying to get it in the house showed up. So there was more. So what's left is kind of sorted. I could know what it is. But anyway, while I was doing that, I did find some things. I found the tripod for recording, which is good because before that I was doing this weird stacking thing. I found Tiff's birthday present. I actually was able to finish it this past week. I'm not going to show it now. I will show it after she has it. I have not shipped it yet. I have not shipped a lot of things yet. I'm so glad we're doing electronic prizes these days because shipping is bad. And electronic prizes, people send me an email and usually, you know, within an hour or two, I've got it taken care of. And usually, even if it's that long a delay, it's because, you know, I'm at work and in a meeting or something like that. Alright, so what have I been working on? Well, I have worked some on the bias Noro scarf. Now, my yarn is not Noro. And now I don't remember what it is. It's on my project page. But it's this rust color scarf. But the important thing is that from this marker, I moved my marker to here. That's all new since the last time you saw it. So, I have been working on that. I also have been working on the twitchy sock. Now, the stripes line up, but not the same colors. Like they're exactly in the, they line up line to line, but like the dark pink lines to purple, the light pink lines to the dark pink, the purple lines to the light pink, over and over. So this is actually almost done. I was actually just going to finish one more side and bind off, and then I have to put heels in. I just didn't get to it because I thought about doing it and then decided no, I wanted to record while there was still daylight. But it's good to go. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. For some reason, when I was looking at it, I thought that I had made it too short and I was going to be cringing, but no, it's fine. I just didn't line it up right. Now, I make true afterthought heels, so there are no, some people say they're doing afterthought heels and they'll have marked where they're going to put the heel in. I don't do that. My idea for twitchy socks is that I can go round and round and round and round and round and round and then deal with the heels later. I do a true afterthought where I actually cut it in after the fact, and I do have a tutorial that explains how to do that I made several years ago. It's not the best because I did not have the ability to film myself, so I actually took photographs and then talked through it, but I still think it works. Now, remember last week I told you guys that my hands were really hurting, so I hadn't done any, I was really struggling with knitting on that sock. Well, now they weren't hurting at all. I knit on it during Jurassic World. My son and I went to go see that, and we both really liked it. And I didn't get as much knitting done there, but it wasn't because my hands were hurting. It was because I was so enthralled with the movie, I would stop knitting and just like watch the movie. Which is a good sign, because normally the reason we call them twitchy socks is because I don't sit still and I get twitchy and I get bored. And not bored. I just don't sit still very well. Even if I'm interested in the movie, I'm struggling. But I was so entranced with the movie that I actually stopped knitting. And then on Saturday, best friend and I went to go see Imagine Dragons. They were here in concert in Milwaukee. And so I actually knit on it during the concert too, while it was also Knit in Public Day. So I knit in public at the concert. We were at the very top. We were in the topmost row that they were allowing seating. They actually didn't fill the very top. But there was nobody behind us and there was nobody in front of us. There was nobody on the other side of him, so it was just, and on the side of me was a stairwell, so there was nobody around us. So I was not bothering anyone with my knitting. And it was a very good concert. Yeah, so I also have been working on trying to move stuff out of the way now. I have, of course, been working on Sophie. I am almost done with part 9. So, this teal row is the last row of part 9, but I've only got a small section of it done so far. And then I've told you guys there's 18 parts, so part 9 would put me halfway. So that's all the knitting. I haven't done any spinning, but I did want to talk about that a little bit. Tour de Fleece is coming. For anyone that doesn't know, Tour de Fleece lines up with the Tour de France, the bicycle race. So during Tour de Fleece, while they're spinning their wheels, you spin your spinning wheel, or, you can drop spindle. This year it runs from July 4th to July 26th. There are 2 rest days. The days that the bike riders get to rest are rest days for spinning, which are Monday the 13th and Tuesday the 21st. Thursday, July 23rd is a challenge day because that is the hardest day of the race. And then Sunday, July 26th is the completion day, and everybody wears yellow to signify that, yay, we made it. And so as a spinner, you're supposed to wear yellow that day. I am not participating in any official team at all. Some years I do and some years I don't. This is not a year for it. For one thing, 4th of July is my birthday. And then we've got a wedding to go to one of the weekends, and then we're going on vacation. However, I do want to get back into spinning, so I am going to try to spin at least 15 minutes a day, every day during the Tour de Fleece. But I'm not going to do anything official. I kind of wanted to do be in the Into the World group, because if you spin Into the World fiber, you get entries for prizes and stuff. And I have discovered that I have a lot of Into the World fiber and I've never spun any of it. But because I haven't spun in so long, I decided, you know what, let's just do the 15 minutes a day, get back into it. I haven't done a lot of spinning at all in this house, even though one of my wheels had moved here a while back. So I just, get back into it. And I already told best friend about it. And he said, yeah, it made perfect sense to him. So, I did not talk about it, but the Woolly Trot that was put on by Rain Lover Knits, Sarah, who now does the Raindrop Knits podcast, went very well. I actually did walk 4 miles. I did not run it. It was our virtual our virtual 5K where people from all over could walk or run or hike their 5K, which is 3.1 miles. The cats were playing. Now they ran out the door, and right after they ran out the door, stuff fell down. But that was while I was still sick. So we walked, there's a bike path, a really pretty bike path near here. We walked 2 miles out and 2 miles back, which was obviously more than the 3.1 necessary, but we were actually really enjoying the weather. It was probably too far. The last mile coming back really sucked. Best friend went with me, partially because if anything did happen, he would be able to run back and get a car and go, and fetch me. So, but it was really pretty. And that was the first time we've gone for a walk here, and it was just gorgeous. And then he went on a bike ride a few days later and discovered that just a little bit past where we stopped and turned around, there's actually this great big, he calls it a big hole in the ground, but it had like really blue, pretty water. He took a picture and showed me, but I haven't been there. We've been waiting to have another day that we could go for a walk, but we've been doing a lot of prep work for people coming to visit, and I was gone and he was gone. Like I said, not this past weekend, but the one before, I did a lot of trying to sort and clean and take care of things around the house. And there was still a bunch left, but I took care of a bunch. He got home Sunday, and then he took care of some. He sorted through all our joint, like bathroom supplies, shampoo, soap, cotton balls, things we do not need to buy for probably 2 years because we both had a ton. But he sorted through it all and organized the bathroom closet so that it's all in like small boxes that you can easily pull out. This is the shampoo box or whatever. It actually is good. And then he worked from home one day and he took off a day and did even more work around the house. Plus, while I was gone to visit mom and my son, he did some other stuff. So between the two of us, the place is reasonable now. The people that are coming to visit know that I moved in and there are boxes. But they at least have a place to sleep and clean bedding and things like that. So, and you can walk through the house. So we are done feeling the time crunch. The rest of it will get done as it gets done. So, I think that's it for now. I was going to talk about one of the what do you want me to share items, primarily fear in knitting, because, well, I guess I can talk about it. I actually added this one to the list. I frequently see people say that they are afraid to try something. They're afraid to try interlock. They're afraid to try lace knitting. They're afraid to try crochet. They're afraid to try Tunisian crochet. Whatever it is. And I will honestly say it makes me a little crazy. There are a lot of things to fear in life. Falling out of an airplane, if you decide to skydive. Moving in with somebody and selling your place is a little scary. There are a lot of things in the world. A lot of people need to be brave in whatever sense that means. And I know there's a lot of that going around on the internet right now. Whatever your version of brave is and fear is, yarn should not be one of them. What's the absolute worst thing that happens if you mess up a project? The absolute worst thing, you've lost time. You've learned something and you spent time. That's it. That's the absolute worst thing that could possibly happen to you while you're trying something new. There's nothing to fear. It's unlikely you will get injured. I suppose you could sit on your double points, but it's unlikely you're going to get injured or injure anybody else. It's unlikely to do any other damage. In most cases, you can actually rip back your project and you still have yarn and needles. Please, please do not fear your knitting. You can possibly be intimidated by a technique. I see that with the Sophie. People are nervous, and a bunch of us are like, it is a complicated pattern, but there are picture tutorials and a video tutorial and a Facebook group that is really, really helpful. It is actually a lot of beginners have actually done it. But please don't fear your knitting or your spinning or your crochet or whatever it is you're doing. Don't fear it. Just start, try. I have yet to hear anybody give me a good reason why they're scared of something. And everybody will, every now and then, somebody will say, I'm scared of knitting in a circle. Why? What scares you? I don't know. It's just scary. That's not a good reason. Nothing. You may get frustrated. I'm not saying that the first time you knit in a circle, it will be easy. First time I knit in a circle, I threw it. And for that matter, the first time I tried to do ribbing, I didn't understand that you were supposed to pass the yarn over the top of your knitting. I actually tried to do it underneath, and then it keeps like binding itself up. It's really bad. I can't even say that I was a kid, because I wasn't. I mean, I started knitting after I got divorced, and my son was, 7 at the time. So there was no excuse for that. But it wasn't fearful. It was irritating. So I am going to open a thread, and I want you to tell me what you have been telling yourself you're scared of, and then how you are going to try it. And I think we actually did this a couple years ago, because it's one that keeps kind of popping up. And I want you guys to be empowered. And if you end up coming out of this experiment going, you know what I learned? I learned that I am never doing that technique again. That's fine. I tried double knitting. It is not really one of my favorites. I love the look of it. I find it very frustrating and slow. I'm not scared of it. I just find it frustrating and slow. So I am going to open a thread, and I just want you guys to talk about what you've been scared of. If you can put it into words, why you said that you are scared and how, and then we can all help each other kind of rephrase these things. Hi, this is not a good chair for that. My red chair did not move with us. You're stuck on, Mom. Yeah, I know. Oh. The red chair did not move. The cats had actually destroyed the back of it. So it went into the junk pile. And he thought he could jump up on this one just like that one. It didn't work. All right. Last thing. I actually have a picture of this. Young friend of mine got me these. She said she saw them at I believe it's at the local thrift store. But she said they just looked like me, and she thought I could use them for putting small knitting things in, my hooks, stitch markers, whatever. And they have shiny dragonflies on them. So I really like them. So she's a sweetie. And I think that's it. I'm going to put pictures at the end. Again, it's just kind of easier, and hopefully I can post this tomorrow. They are saying they might start blocking some stuff at work. If they start blocking video uploads at work, which is perfectly within their right, then I'm not sure what happens to the podcast. Like I said, the internet here is very, very, very slow. So, but for now, we're all good. I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.